Hey everyone, how are we doing? It is Thursday, the 11th of January. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you want to interact with anything that I bring up on this show, you can do in the live show chat alongside. We've got a bunch of things we're going to be getting through. As the thumbnail and title suggests, we're going to be chatting a little bit, not just about Fabio Carvalho completing his loan move to Hull, but a little bit about the instant reaction to it, which was peak internet, let's be perfectly honest, but we'll come to that in a bit. We're going to do some of the fallout from last night's 2-1 win over Fulham in the EFL Cup first leg, some of the media reaction to that, some interesting stats. We're going to do a little bit of the wrap-up of a couple of things that we've missed, because obviously we didn't do one of these shows yesterday with the match, so fitness updates that came out of the pre-match press conference and a couple of the bits and pieces as well. So yeah, fun stuff. Let's say if you've got anything interesting you want to say, you want to react to or ask, then please feel free to use the comments. What I want to do, actually, before we dive in anymore, just draw your attention to the fact that we are giving away a free month of Redmen Plus right now. If you would head to redmenplus.com and sign up and use the code KLOPP, KLOPP, well, in Clo, then you're going to get a free month of everything that we do over there. We've just released over Christmas our two-part special of the 50 greatest Liverpool signings of all time. Some mad names, some great names, and everything in between on that list. Yeah, two-part show. And of course, we've got the rest of the January transfer window and a second leg of a semi-final to look forward to, and a fourth round of an FA Cup to look forward to, and of course, Liverpool getting back into Premier League action as well, whilst they are, in fact, top off the league. So yeah, get a free month. Head to redmenplus.com. Right, I'm going to start with last night's game. Opta Joe put this stat out at 8 minutes past 10 last night. Number one, despite only coming on in the 56th minute, Darwin Nunez had the highest XG, 0.76, the most touches in the opposition box, 12, completed the most dribbles, 3, and had the joint most shots, 4, of any Liverpool player tonight, as well as assisting both goals. Exuberance. What did you make of Darwin Nunez's performance? Obviously, we've talked about him a lot. Just as Liverpool fans, he's one that you can't help but really discuss, because I've described him in the past as being box office, and he really is, and anyone who, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. People who you can't stop talking about, it means they've got an X factor, they've got something. The biggest discussion point around him is obviously goals. But what's starting to happen, and I think it was the podcast a fortnight ago, when I made a little bit of a comparison to sort of Emil Heskey, who had the capability to be a really, really good goal scorer. And we saw one season where he was, but he was often talked about how well he brought other players into play. Michael Owen always talked about him as being like his favourite strike partner to play alongside, because he existed to help Michael Owen do the thing that Michael Owen was the best at, and that was score goals. I'm not sure I think he's got the potential to be a better goal scorer than Emil, maybe. But it is very interesting that we're starting to see a little shift towards this now. James Pearce did an article in The Athletic. I read it this afternoon, but it was I guess it would have been produced last night, talking kind of about that and his overall output on the season so far. I'm going to get that up actually, because I think it's actually it makes for quite interesting reading. But yeah, he's just, I think he is a little wasteful in front of goal, but there is also a situation, particularly in the last couple of weeks, where there's probably 2 or 3, maybe even more, 3 plus opportunities where goalkeepers have just pulled absolute worldy saves out. And one of them was last night, was Bert Leno. He's 6 yards out. He gets it on target. The accuracy is wonderful, and the keeper just manages to get his legs in the way. Like he should be walking away with a goal and 2 assists. And obviously Leno made good saves from the header, and there's another good save with one that he drills across the goal as well. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Shayam, what pose on your lip? I honestly don't know. Winter. Right, Sad. I'm going to get his goals and assists up for the season so far, because I do think it merits a little bit of attention. And we're going to do this by combined goals and assists for all Liverpool players so far. There we go. So, top of the pile for Liverpool so far for goals and assists. 18 goals, 9 assists is, of course, Mohamed Salah, as you would expect. From 27 appearances, just over 2,000 minutes played. And then below him there, obviously, a significant jump down because Mo Salah is absolutely supreme. I mean, if Salah's box office, then I don't really know. We need a better adjective to describe Mo, really. But there you have underneath. Darwin Nunez, 8 goals, 10 assists. That's 18 combined goals and assists this season. And the assisting is the most interesting. He got 4 in all comps last season for us. I think he scored 16 goals in all comps. So he's obviously halfway towards his goal scoring tally from last year. But he's more than doubled his output in terms of bringing other people into play. And Liverpool are winning more games of football than they did last season. You know, some of that is just a greater level of integration. Certainly, and obviously all do the bits and pieces that Liverpool have added, a more vibrant midfield, refreshment, you know, in certain areas of the pitch, the best players being back to the best, like Virgil van Dijk. But I think that's really interesting. Nicholas Cosmas says Nunez is critical for us. Long may his chaos reign. Luke says, Paul, I'm starting to call it the chaos chance creation. Yeah, I mean, actually, one of the things I put out, I may even said it in post-match last night, is what we used to call like chaos, which was always seen as a bit, it bordered on the way that like Everton bang on about like their best footballers and how like they loved Duncan Ferguson because he was like aggressive. It's like, great, maybe bang on about someone who scores more goals. Fun. It did feel a little bit like it could have gone that way, where you're just like, oh, look how wild he is, how many goals and assists did he get today? None, but wild, he was wild. Chaos now is actually means assists. So he's creating all kinds of stuff in the box. He's making things happen. He's terrorising centre-halves and full-backs. He's testing goalkeepers. And then he's not scoring as many as we'd like, but he's laying it on a plate for someone else to do the same. Great cutback for Cody Gakpo last night. And obviously he set so many Mo Salah goals up this season. Is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Nathan Weiss here saying, Nunez changed the game along with Gakpo. 2 assists is good considering he had around 25 minutes to work with. Just needs to get a goal or 2. Yeah, or 10 would be great just to get him above the goal tally from last season, really. But yeah, I mean, there might still be this thing where as much as we think Liverpool are moving towards this tip of the spear, 25, 30 goal a season centre forward, while you've got Mohamed Salah in your team. He's still your best player, and you still make it your central mission to get him the ball in dangerous areas as much as possible. So right now, Darwin Nunez is doing a really underrated Bobby Firmino impression, and actually probably in some regard a little bit of a better one, because I know Bobby knitted it from deep, but he didn't get the assists. Right? If Darwin carries on at this sort of vein, he'll end up with around 16 goals and around 20 assists, there or thereabouts. It depends. I think we go in the cup competitions, which will be up there with. I mean, certainly assists. That'll be better, I think, than any season that Bobby Firmino had for us, which is wild when you think about it. Right, let's get to a couple of other bits and pieces then from the old post-match when I locate where I have put that tab. Hang on a second. Ash has sent a super chat in, which I'll get to. Talksport, Jason Cundy clearly dislikes that Virgil van Dijk is compared to legends. Any mistake Van Dijk makes, he's always ready to call him overrated. Odd behaviour. It's not odd behaviour when you consider that he's on Talksport, when you've got to say things on there that cause people to go, what? That's like your mission number one. And then if it makes people think because it's like a really good, intelligent point, that's, they don't have people on there capable of that. But every now and again, obviously one does land. But yeah, you've got some odd cats on TalkSport. And yeah, Jason Cundy appears to be one, has always really seemed to be one. But he knows, he plays the game. He tries to say the most incendiary thing possible. TalkSport is basically the precursor to football YouTube. So yeah. Some interesting stuff talking about Conor Bradley. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. There's a few people talking about him, obviously, last night. This one from someone on Twitter who said if he wasn't creator-in-chief, Trent, he was replacing. Conor Bradley performance would win a lot more plaudits. A few mistakes, but 87 touches and always an outlet, never stopped running, imperious defensively, very promising future. This is on thisanfield.com. And our good friend Sam Maguire tweeted, Conor Bradley is 5-5 in tackles, 8 out of 15 in ground duels. He's like Wan-Bissaka, but he can actually play football. I love a bit of that. Absolutely love a bit. Craig Flynn agrees, says Bradley was brilliant. And Nathan Weiss back again says Bradley was immense. Yeah, I was really impressed. It's tough because I was in the Annie Road end, which is a bit unfamiliar for me, but kind of similar to normally being in the Cop, in that you see more of the game that's in front of you than you do down the far end. So I don't remember too much of his first half performance other than his stuff in their half and in the final third, and I thought he really took that really, really well. He was the one charger providing the width, and he got into some great sorts of positions beyond the edge of the 18-yard box, which was very needed for Liverpool, because obviously Harvey Elliott naturally wants to tuck in and sit a little bit deeper. Gravenberch naturally wants to get on the ball as well, and there was a real sort of disjointedness, I think, with that. But Bradley was great, and then in the second half just went up a gear. And the fact that he was wrecked, he was ruined, I hadn't even really noticed it until I watched the highlights. In fact, I went back and watched when I got in last night. I put the final 35 minutes of the game on, and then the post-match. And he's limping. He's limping. Like, Klopp hugs him at the end. You can see him almost go, ah. It's like me when I do any exercise, except he's just come on and done 90 minutes. In a big cup game semi-final as well. So yeah, really, really good. Jurgen Klopp was asked about whether Bradley would sleep after a star showing at Anfield. Klopp could only speak highly of his play. He said he will. I'm sure he'll make it home. Probably will fall asleep in the dressing room. Exceptional. What a boy. Fantastic character. Real talent. Top potential. And he's in the right team because everyone loves him and respects him and wants him to succeed. It's really nice. Really nice. Excellent. Alejandro says, mate Bradley is a couple of senior games away before starting to impose his game on the imposing left back. Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, yeah, he had a good, a promising start to the pre-season, and obviously got injured. He was, by all accounts, he was brilliant at Bolton last year. But I remember getting to the summer and thinking, that's a bit of a step up to go from Bolton to the Premier League. But we've done it with like Quansah as well. You're talking guys who've gone down a couple of divisions, and then you think, well, no, you don't go down, you don't go beneath the Championship, and then even if you've played really well, some people disagree, you don't then go to, sorry, but Toffee TV have got FIFA, I guess, and you know, wild. Absolutely wild. They're loving it. It's the only time that Everton, they actually have a direct hand in how good Everton are. So yeah, they've done more cheering in the last sort of 15 minutes than they've done all season. Anyway, look, the point is that I think Bradley's got, I think he's got something. And it's one of those weird twists of fate that, you know, we'll do the Trent injury stuff because I'll jump ahead to it because it was mentioned in the pre-match press conference, and then I'll jump back to that. So this was written a couple of days ago, but Trent Alexander-Arnold will be sidelined for a few weeks due to a knee injury. Pep Lijnders has confirmed. Liverpool vice-captain sustained the issue during the weekend's 2-0 victory at Arsenal in the FA Cup. Van Dijk missed the tie due to illness, but obviously came back against Fulham, which we now know. LiverpoolFC.com was told by Pep, first of all, some not that good news. Trent hyperextended his knee during the last game, so he has a little tear in the lateral ligament of his knee, and he will need time to recover. He had a scan, and he'll be out for a few weeks, so let's see after that. He will get some rest, and then hopefully he can come back to where he was, because this guy was decisive in all the games and was the one who created consistently for us from deep and gave the team a high level of flexibility. We will really miss him. Virgil is back, did some runs. Yeah, we know that will skip. Dom is progressing well on the pitch. He's running, so let's see, not available for Fulham. Then we have Robbo. He's almost at the 3-month mark, so we'll get checked by the surgeon. If he does that scan and we see everything so that we can really progress him, he will go to Dubai for a week to do proper volume sessions, proper sessions, so that will be good for him. Then we will see the 3-month mark scan, and then we can see how quick he can go into contact again. Same for Costas, progressing really well, really quick. So hopefully both of them, Rob and Costas, will be back at the end of this month to train with the team. Wow. On Thiago and Bajcetic, they will not be ready for the end of this month. It will probably be going into the next month to train with us, but both with no complications, progressing. So yeah, really encouraging stuff, actually, surprisingly so, because my initial sight of the Trent stuff was a lot of people going, oh, well, that's a huge blow, and obviously it is. You want Trent to be able to play in as many games of football for you as possible, but I was a little worried about a lot of like Liverpool situations. Did a video on it on my channel the other week about how Liverpool will cope and whether the injuries mean we have to delve into the transfer market. But actually what we're seeing is like loanees and young players available and stepping up at the moment. There is a threshold to what you can achieve. We go too far with that, of course, but Conor Bradley, just to skip back to him, you know, is he a 10 game on the bounce? Will that be, you know, will he be good enough to do that? I don't know. It's still far too early to tell. But if you wanted some encouragement, I thought the sub appearance against Arsenal was brilliant, and I thought he was even better against Fulham. And so there you go, an FA Cup game away from home at the Emirates against one of the top 3 teams in the league, a Champions League quality team as well as that. And then, yeah, coming to a cup semi-final and handling yourself, brilliant, very, very encouraging. Shame about Thiago and Bajcetic, but again, maintained for a while, if Thiago's just fit for the final 10 games of the season, I'll take that all day long. And hopefully Bajcetic can get himself back in the mix at some point as well. Okay, back to the game. Michael _Reed 11 said Cody Gakpo has scored in all 4 of Liverpool's League Cup games this season. He's the first player to score in 4 consecutive rounds of a League Cup season for Liverpool since Ian Rush in 83-84, and first when excluding replays since Kenny Dalglish in 1980-81. And someone said, seeing elsewhere that Smeacher didn't know one, Smeacher did 4 appearances in a row, not rounds. 2 of his were each leg of the semi-final. So there you go. I always say it's a signpost on the way to success when you hear that players are either breaking records or matching records from really successful eras of Liverpool. And it's a stupid little one, really, isn't it? Because it doesn't really count for anything. But, you know, if you want to be joined in good company, be in the company, in goal-scoring company with Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish is not a bad start. Not a bad start as well. Yes. I've got a question before I move on to a couple of news bits. So Darren Lewis says, Harvey in the front 3 thoughts he was dropping too deep and it didn't work. Didn't work against Arsenal either. Harsh to judge when he's not playing with Trent Sobbo on that side, though, to be fair. Yeah, he did it a week or so ago and looked really good. I forget which game that was, but I mean, Chloe, can you remember what game it was? Okay. Chloe shouted Palace, but I've definitely seen him have good games out on that side. And I've started to kind of lean towards there will be games where he will be really useful in there. Games where he doesn't need pace to stretch games, basically. And when you can put a more traditional right back alongside, then that is fine because Conor Bradley provides the pace and the width and the overlap, so it should be okay from that. But weirdly, Arsenal wasn't the game for him. I don't think it was, because I think he needed to stretch them. Once we put more pace on the flanks, we put Darwin left, Diaz right, we were just so much more dangerous against them, because that's where you hurt really good teams. Whereas when you play against teams that low block, then actually having skillful, unlocking, kind of visionary footballers in attacking positions is no bad thing, because there's no space to accelerate into, to open things up. So you need to open it up with your guile and your close control, touch, and obviously being able to score as well. And Harvey's got all of those things. So yeah, at the moment it feels a bit like he's kind of doing a job for the team. I would like to see Diaz used more over on that side, but at the moment, Liverpool's mission and what Klopp seems to be doing is we've got options. So actually being able to still make it a 90-minute, 95-minute game of football by having some really good lads to bring on who can add to the attack seems to be a decent little idea. So what I'm saying is, if you start, let's say, Darwin, Jota and Diaz as a front 3, then you've got Gakpo to come in, and obviously Gakpo getting a decent return of goals so far, ticking along okay, but it's just Gakpo, and I'm not sure he's as sort of transformative. I am saying this in the aftermath of him scoring the winning goal in a League Cup semi-final off the bench, by the way. But yeah, there is something to that anyway. RCJKs. Elliott isn't as effective going up against the full-back, much better at dropping into tight spaces behind the front line. Yeah, he's like the latter day Salah in that role where he wants the ball in the corner of the penalty area. He wants to be able to get a shot off. He wants to link play. He wants people to overlap him. He wants people to underlap him, and he'll pull the strings, which is a useful trait to have, particularly if you've not got Trent doing it from deeper from behind. So I'm not totally opposed to it, but I do think he suits a lot more games than not. I think he suits that in midfield slightly better. But at the moment, Liverpool are just trying to find a way to make things work, aren't they? So you can't be too critical, I guess. Right. So a bit of news that broke a couple of days ago, which we've not really discussed. It's confirmed Fabio Carvalho, this by the official Liverpool website, completes loan switch to Hull City. Fabio Carvalho completed his loan move to Hull. 21-year-old will spend the remainder of the campaign in the Championship with Liam Roche Senior's side. Carvalho returned to Liverpool last month following a temporary spell in Germany with RB Leipzig, where he made 15 appearances in the first half of 23-24. The attacker joined the Reds from Fulham in the summer of 22, made 21 senior appearances for the club to date, scoring 3 times. Hull, who are also loaning Tyler Morton from Liverpool this season, currently sits 7th in the Championship and are next in action on Friday night when they host Norwich City. So, and this is where we get to the title and thumbnail. I want to caveat all of this ahead of time with I'm not in this for hate, by the way. Not in this for hate at all. But there is a very obvious the situation is problem. So we're going to bring the announcement picture up on screen for you guys right now. So, yeah, deal done. Fabio Carvalho has joined Hull City on loan from Liverpool until the end of the season. I'm just going to scroll down indiscriminately. And just, if you've not seen this picture, what is your first reaction to this picture? Now, mine, you could put it as simply as poor posture. Not great posture. It could be that the shirt's sitting uncomfortably. It could be that vertical stripes have an effect on how your physique is done. But yes, RCJ has got it. Who's the father? Some of the responses underneath here, because I was like, look, he looks like he's got a bit of a tubby on him there. And then I just scrolled down and join me on this journey. Footy Chancellor just kicked it straight off with, my man is 14 weeks pregnant. His belly, though. And then there was a few more. What I got... yeah. There was one more which I really want to draw attention to, which was my absolute favourite. I'll see if I can find it. A few there saying, what happened? Someone's saying there, good luck, Carvalho. Yes, Fabio Carvalho, very, very good luck. That would be great. Someone obviously being a little bit offensive there. If I come back off this for now, Chloe, I'll find it off screen before I end up giving too many idiots too much exposure, when really the only idiot who wants exposure on the channel is me. Come on, where is it? I've got me absolutely. I want. There we go. Back there. Actually, wow. Andy Murphy's vertical stripes are actually slimming. Is that right? Oh God. Oh wow. I mean right. Here's a good one. I want to see if anyone can top Fabio Carvalho. Bear in mind, I have nothing but sympathy as a man who's put the best part of probably a stone on since the Christmas period began. It's easy, just isn't it? You know, you've not got that motivation, and you do think, like it's Christmas. There's so much nice food around. Who am I staying fit for? Often you have those kind of questions. There is a major issue around that. Oh come on, where is it? There's someone who's put about 50 comments in here and just literally it's just been banging on him. Anyway, I can't find it, so I'm going to give it to you myself. Fabio Carvalho. I can't take credit for the creation of it, but absolutely astonishing. There we go. Yeah, astonishing footage. Oh, kittens, Fabio Carvalho. Oh no. Oh no. Carvalho is literally all of us after Christmas. I don't see the problem. Neither do I. Neither do I. You've only got one life to lead. Look, it probably is just like a combination of hunched shoulders and a ruched shirt. I can't imagine it's going to be particularly. I can't imagine it's going to be a problem. Fabio Carvalho, brilliant. Yeah, outstanding. I mean, that's just not this one. Fabio Carbonara. That's not clever. That's not clever. Anyway, yeah, there we go. This is the world we live in right now. I do love it. Right, in terms of another piece of news, let's move things on pretty swiftly. Wow. Oh, actually, you know, let's have a proper comment. From Alex here, Alex Berlach says, Hull City season ticket holder here. Fabio will play on the right as a second striker. Left wing is held down by Philogene. He might have 10 minutes on the left with subs, etc. Yeah, I mean, I guess unless there's some sort of cover, is there what formation to Hull play? Because I think the issue with Carvalho is that I think he should be capable of playing either side of the front three, but he's never really flourished in those roles for Liverpool. He has done a bit in midfield, and I wondered whether we would see him converted into like an attacking eight. Yeah, I apologise, by the way. I do this only out of fun and jest. There's no way that Fabio Carvalho is fat and overweight. It's just not. It's clearly just one of those random tricks of the camera lens. But it would be really funny of like people going, "Why is this lad not worked? Why are Liverpool loading him out straight away?" And then you see a picture and you're like, "Oh, wow, okay, yeah, great." Sad. Anyway, in terms of Liverpool recalling stuff. We've had a couple of players come back already. Obviously, Conor Bradley was on loan last season. We've seen Owen Beck be recalled and not used just yet. But anyway, Liverpool are in right-back recall talks amid Trent Alexander-Arnold injury report. This is Anfield. Liverpool are in talks with Preston over prematurely ending Calvin Ramsey's loan stint at the club. The Scot moved to Deepdale on a season-long deal in August in a bid for regular minutes after enduring an injury-hit debut campaign at Anfield. However, he's made just 2 appearances as a result of further fitness problems. And this is Anfield understands that Liverpool are now ready to recall Ramsey as a result. The Reds have made a habit of cancelling loans early when the young stars are struggling for game time. Rhys Williams and Fabio Carvalho returned from planned season-long stays at Aberdeen and Leipzig this month after being underused. Ramsey's return has been linked to the news that Trent Alexander-Arnold is set to be sidelined by a knee injury. However, that blow is only expected to keep the club vice-captain out for around 3 weeks, while Conor Bradley is considered most likely to benefit from his absence. As such, it remains possible that Ramsey heads out on a second loan should the right opportunity present itself. Marcelo Pitalugas also joined Irish club St. Pat's Athletic, and Vitislav Jaros will spend the remainder of the season with Sturm Graz in Austria. Nat Phillips is back, and James Balagizi is back as well. So you would suspect all of them will be looking for moves. It's mad that no one's bought Nat Phillips offers still, by the way. I think that's absolutely wild. There are some quotes on Calvin Ramsey, which I'm just going to quickly track down. So Ryan Lowe has said about it, who's the Preston manager. There's a possibility with everything again. You look at him not playing enough games. He wanted to come here and play and force his way in, which is why we signed him to compete with Potsy, Brad Potts. The injury set him back, then he played, and then COVID set him back. He's now finding himself out of the squad, but there is a possibility with everything. We will do what is best for us and the player as well. Calvin has got the opportunity every day, like most players, to get back into the squad. I had a brief chat with him the other day about it, and he's obviously disappointed he's not in and around the squad because he feels he can help and get into the team. The problem he's got is we've got someone like Brad Potts, who's been one of our most outstanding performers since I came through the door. So yeah, it's an interesting one on Ramsey because whereas Conor Bradley is like a youth player that's come through the ranks, obviously we bought Ramsey in a bit young, 18, 19, when we, in his first season. He was clearly bought with an eye to being a developmental first team player, not an under 21 player, not a youth player, not someone who's going to be based at the academy. He's going to be a first choice player, and obviously he was injured from an injury. A back problem was discovered as soon as we signed him, which is a bit mad. So it's not been it just wasn't a good season. And you just haven't got enough minutes there to really determine where he's at. Send him down to the Championship. We saw Sepp Vandenberg have a decent season there a few years ago. And Ryan Lowe's actually got a really good, obviously a Liverpool lad. I'm pretty sure he's a Liverpool fan as well. But I remember speaking to him a couple of seasons ago when he was the Plymouth manager, and he talked about having a no dickheads policy and the squad they bring in, which is very much a Liverpool ideal as well. So it speaks well to Calvin Ramsey's character, but he's obviously facing a big challenge here. Bradley had a great season with Bolton, really established himself, and he's come back and he's obviously ready to kick on again. He's obviously got international caps under his belt as well. Ramsey's just an interesting case. I would like to see him get game time, but I actually don't mind it, because I think there's an interesting situation here where Gomez needs to be protected as much as he's been brilliant in the last month or so. We need to protect Trent as well. You don't need to be rushing Trent back and potentially damaging him more long term. We've got Owen Beck, who I think they'll be running the rule over and see where he's at. Bradley's done okay, but Bradley, as we saw, he was wrecked by the end of that game. If that was a better team, we might have been in more problems at the end of that football match. So actually bringing Ramsey back and just having those two rotate for a month while you let Trent get back up to speed could be worse. Okay. To get you Puggington. Jesus Christ, we still have Vandenberg. Yeah, we do. I was on the Ripple Effect podcast this week with James Alcott. Episode 1 of 2 is out now. There is also an interesting one to come where I ranked every single Jurgen Klopp transfer. Keep your eyes peeled. The Ripple Effect on podcasts, on Spotify more specifically. But yes. Right. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Drop a like on this one and don't forget to use the code KLOP to get yourself a free month of redmenplus.com. Fill your life with, all that really, really good stuff like podcasts and videos and shows and all that great stuff. While Liverpool are boss, it's so good to cover it, and you can get all of that with us for now. So, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a Legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, Legend tier status.